International Film Festival of India is at the halfway mark, and film lovers have got a taste of films from Australia to Canada, from Russia to Brazil, enjoying unforgettable cinematic experiences here in Goa. To start off, let's travel to Canada for a film, Basima's Womb, a story about the hardships and sacrifices an immigrant endures to stay legally in her adopted country. I had the privilege to meet the beautiful lead actress who tells us how she turned not only passionate but also empathetic to people who struggle with these hardships in life. I have Maxine here with me, who plays the main role in Maxima's Womb. Please tell us about the role that you play.
Yeah, so Basima's Womb is a really captivating story, I would say, and the character of Basima is someone I think a lot of people can relate to. She's a young woman who is striving to make a name for herself in the world, who wants so much and who has a lot of desires and passions and things that she's looking to achieve, but the world keeps sort of hitting her down, and it's really a story about resilience and someone who wants to push through all the obstacles and try as hard as she can to come out on top, you know? So I think a character like Basima is someone that a lot of people will see themselves in, and I think it really is worth checking out, because then you get to see a very unique perspective, a very unique story, but also something that unfortunately happens all too much in the world today. So it's a great way to raise awareness.
Amazing movie, and the role that you play is so intense. Can you tell us the challenges that you faced in playing this role?
Yeah, honestly, it was definitely one of the more challenging roles I've ever had to do. It was a hard month in the sense of you have to go places inside yourself that are pretty difficult. And at the end of the day, I always count my stars that I was able to get out of it, because this was a story. I'm an actor. But a lot of women, particularly, are not. And there is that difficulty. And I think that is something that I really empathized with. I really looked at it as sort of this crazy journey that I went on, but I also looked at it as I'm very lucky that I could see that light. And I think at the end of the day, those watching this movie, I hope that you get to see it too, that you do have choices, and keep powering through, and don't look at it as something that, like, you know, the world is trying to beat you down. Life is difficult sometimes, and that was really something that I tried to go as hard as I can deep into my heart to be like, okay, what could someone who's going through this be going through internally? And that is how I kind of connected to Basima emotionally and eternally.
The Indian Panorama feature film section showcases a curated selection of contemporary Indian films. This prestigious section highlights cinematic excellence and cultural diversity. Preeti Soiru talks about a Goan film, Savat, which showcases Goan culture.
आज आमच्या बरोबर आसा सावट फिल्मांतले डायरेक्टर संतोष शेटकर आनी शिवम हळवणकर. तुमकां येवकार. तांचें हें फिल्म जें आसा इफीक आमच्या पावल्लें आसा, आनी कोंकणी फिल्म हें म्हणून आमकां भोव अभिमान ह्या फिल्माचो. तर आयकुया आमी संतोशाच्या आवाजान की तो ह्या फिल्मा बद्दल आमकां कितें सांगूंक सोदता. तर म्हाजो पयलो प्रश्न तुमकां, संतोष, म्हाका सांग की तुका कशें सुचलें हें फिल्म करपाचें?
सुचलें एका रातीन किंवा एका दिसान न्ही, बट एक 5 वर्सां पयलीं ह्या फिल्माची स्क्रिप्ट हांवें बरयल्ली, आनी ती खूब कडेन करपाक ट्राय केल्ली, पण ती तेन्ना जावंक ना. आनी 5 वर्सां उपरांत शिवम म्हजे कडेन अप्रोच जालो की आमकां ह्या वर्सा इंडियन पॅनोरामाक हो सामकें स्ट्रेस करून सांगलेलें की इंडियन पॅनोरामाक आमकां कितें तरी करपाक जाय. सो तेन्ना ताका हांवें म्हाजे कडेन आसलेल्यो 2-3 स्क्रिप्टी ताका हांवें सांगल्यो आनी तातूंतल्यान ही जी स्क्रिप्ट आसली सावट, एक्चुली ह्या स्क्रिप्टीक नांव आमी सगळ्यांनी दिलां पण पयलीं ताका स्टोरी ती आवडली खूब आनी ती स्टोरी की कॉम्पिटिशनाक व्हरपा लायकीची कितें तरी हातूंत एलिमेंट्स आसा हें ताका जेन्ना जाणवलें तेणें म्हटलें की लेट्स गो विथ दीस आनी ताणें ही स्क्रिप्ट सिलेक्ट केल्या उपरांत एंड सगळें शूट जालें आनी शेवटी सावट हें नांव पडून ही स्क्रिप्ट आयज तुमच्या मुखार हांगासर पावल्ली आसा.
शिवम, हो प्रश्न तुज्या खातीर. म्हाका दिसता हें तुजें पयलें फिल्म आसतलें. डायरेक्टर म्हणून इफीक पावल्ले हें तुजें फिल्म आसा, तर म्हाका सांग हो विशय फिल्म कितें सांगूंक सोदता?
तर सांगचें म्हटल्यार आमची जर्नी खूब पयलीं स्टार्ट जाल्ली. 2019 हांवें म्हाजी फर्स्ट फिल्म केल्ली इफीक. इट वॉज पार्ट ऑफ 72 hours फिल्म मेकींग चॅलेंज आनी त्या फिल्माक आमकां बेस्ट स्टोरी मेळ्ळी. सो फॉर दीस 5 years हांवें विचार केलो की लेट्स टेक अ गॅप आनी लेट्स जस्ट अटेंड द फेस्टिवल. जितलें मेळटा तितलें घेवया आनी लेट्स देन ट्राय टू क्रिएट. सो 5 वर्सां मागीर तुमकां खबर नासतलें बट संतोश, हांव तांकां आमा म्हणटा, ही इज माय ग्रँड अंकल. सो ही जोडी आ ग्रँड अंकल आनी नेफ्यूची ती आमी केली की लेट्स वर्क ऑन सम प्रोजेक्ट टुगेदर आनी तितूंतल्यान सावट निर्माण जालो. सावट हो ब्लॅक एंड व्हायट फिल्म आसा. ब्लॅक एंड व्हायट कारण ह्युमन इज व्हेरी ग्रे. ह्युमन सायकोलॉजी इज व्हेरी ग्रे सायड ऑफ इट. म्हणजे what is fair for you can be unfair to other person or what is unfair to can be fair to you. So that is how we humans react.
तुवें खंयचे सीन, म्हणजे आमचे गोंयानूच हें फिल्म शूट जालां आसतलें, तर गोंयान खंयचे प्लेसीस तुका मेळ्ळ्यो ज्यो तुवें कवर केल्या ह्या फिल्मान, आनी फिल्मान आमकां पळोवंक मेळटा ह्यो फुगडी घुमट, तुवें बरें अशें प्रदर्शन केलां. सो तुका कशें सुचलें ही आयडिया आनी तुवें खंय शूट केला ही फिल्म?
सांगचें म्हटल्यार खंयच्याय मनशाक जेन्ना कलाकृती तूं जेन्ना करपाक सोदता तेन्ना ती आपल्या मातयेची आसली जाल्यार ती चड कळटाय करपाक आनी ती लोकां मेरेन चड बरी पावता. सो आमी स्वता हांव गोंयकार आसल्या कारणान चवथ म्हणा किंवा गोंयचे जे एलिमेंट्स आसा ते म्हज्या रक्तान आसा. सो ते बरयता आसतना इवन नॉट ओन्ली फुगडी किंवा बाकीचे एलिमेंटूच न्हू तर कॅरेक्टर सुद्दां जे आमी घेता ते जे बारीक बारीक मॅनरिजम जर पळयला जाल्यार आमी टोटल तांकां गोवनायज केल्ले आसा. म्हणजे गोवन कल्चरांतले रावपी कॅरेक्टर्स आसा. तांचे शेतांतलीं कामां, घरांतलीं कामां, तेंचो कपडे म्हण, तांचे विचार करपाची पद्दत ही सगळी टोटल गोंयकार बसीन आसा. कारण कित्याक ते गोंयचे कॅरेक्टर्स, गोंयचे मातयेंतले कॅरेक्टर. कितें आसा की विशय प्रत्येक खंयच्याय वाठारांत गेलो तरी विशय तेच आसता. फक्त तांकां जेन्ना फ्लेवर जो दिता पळय न्हू ते तेंचे टॅक्निकल एलिमेंट्स आसता. म्हणजे तेंचे कपडे, तेंची भाशा, तेंचें खाण जेवण, तांची विचार करपाची पद्दत, हे जे गजाली आसा पळय न्ही त्यो ताका त्या कल्चराचो भाग करता. आनी तेच आमी गोंयांत फिल्मान दाखोवपाक ट्राय केलां की हें फिल्म जरी गोंयचें असलें तरी ताजो विशय जो आसा तो वैश्वीक आसा, तो युनिवर्सल आसा.
We are here with noted Swedish director Mr. George Tiller. Very warm welcome to Goa and India, sir, for the 55th IFFI. So you had the premiere of your film God's Terminal, and your film is a trilogy. Can you tell us a little something about the film and the first two seasons as well, the first two parts of the movie?
So God's Terminal, as you said, is the final part in a trilogy that I shot on a Swedish island. Actually, I'm not from Sweden, I'm from Austria. And I came to the island the first time in 2008 because it is the island where Ingmar Bergman, the famous Swedish film director, lived for more than 20 years. And when I first arrived, I was very interested in his work that he did on the island, how he used the island as a location. And so I started to film the landscape of the islands basically, and I more and more came across a very gifted group of people that I met by chance and who became the actors of the trilogy. Edward Wiki, who is the protagonist of God's Terminal, I met at the very beginning, and so we had a sort of a collaboration throughout these three films.
Sir, what inspires you creatively? You decided to check on other Swedish filmmakers, went onto the island, got this cast by chance, as you said. So what is your creative process when you think of a film and how you go about it?
I mean, this was really a very particular project. It's not usually how you would work on a feature film. So I mean, that was also the magical thing about this trilogy, that a lot of things became or happened by chance, or because of research, or because of dedication, because I spent, I mean, a lot of time on this island. It has actually only like around 400 inhabitants, you know. And I became sort of a member of the family of the island. And this process, it gives you a lot of freedoms. You can decide one day you do this, the other day you do that. And of course, I had also this freedom because we were a very small team for the trilogy. And so we could stay there for a prolonged period of time and discover the island, you know, anew every day, basically. For this last part, we had a more stringent script called Tamil that you are showing here at the festival. That is also because now that Eddie, he is suffers from Parkinson's disease, so he's in the hospital, and so we had to be rather precise in what we do. We only had access for 10 days to the hospital, and therefore it's the most scripted of the three parts, this one.
So as you literally became an islander and you became family, as you said, and I'm sure all that was incorporated in the film. Sir, have you been to other film festivals in India?
So I've been to the film festival in Kerala, I think like maybe 5 years ago. Actually, the film that I produced back then, which was also a very nice experience. So it's the second time that I'm in a film festival in India.
Have you had a chance to see a lot of Goa or yet since you've been here?
Unfortunately, not so much, but the few bits that I've seen, I've been enjoying very much. So,
Sir, all the best to you and your, the future endeavors that you have, the projects that you've lined up, and thank you for speaking with us.
Everyone looks to come to Goa, whether it's for a vacation, for its culture, food, fun, and fiesta. It is also a favored location for filmmakers. Runa Agarwal tells you about one such film that will surely take you down memory lane.
Sea, ships, and spies. In the Goa of 1943, these three little words were instrumental in changing the fortunes of the Allied forces in World War II. In the thick of the Second World War action, Goa, then ruled by neutral Portugal, entered the war scene, but not quite by design. 3 German ships lay at anchor in Mormugao Harbour. One of them was known to have a transmitter on board. The coded messages which it dispatched to German U-boats regarding movement of Allied ships in the Indian Ocean helped the Nazis wreak destruction. The British sent a team of retired personnel to sink the boat, which was successful. But why is this relevant in the context of cinema? This incident was immortalized on celluloid in the 1980 Hollywood film The SeaWolves, based on James Leeser's 1978 book Boarding Party. I am standing at the Hotel Republica in Panjim, Goa, one of the locations where the movie was shot during the peak of Goa's popular hippie culture in the 70s. Many of the covert activity and nighttime scenes were filmed on the rocks around and in the cave in Dona Paula. Goa played host to Hollywood heartthrobs Gregory Peck, former James Bond Roger Moore, and blue-eyed David Niven for months. SeaWolves is the true story of the covert mission Operation Creek, albeit with some cinematic license. The plot goes something like this. During the Second World War, British intelligence based in India believed that information on their merchant shipping was being passed to German U-boats by a radio transmitter hidden on board one of 3 German merchant ships anchored in Goa, which was then a colony of Portugal. Since Portugal is neutral, the ships cannot be attacked. After a failed kidnap and interrogate mission, a territorial unit of British expatriates, the Calcutta Light Horse, is approached to carry out the mission on behalf of British Special Ops. Main men, Stewart and Cartwright, travel clandestinely to Goa, where they arrange diversions on the night of the raid. A party is to be held in the governor's palace, and a brief affair transpires with the mysterious and socially well-connected Mrs. Cromwell, in reality a German agent and the main conduit to the German master spy, codenamed Trumpeter. The raiding party sail around the coast in a decrepit and barely seaworthy barge, setting limpet mines on the hull of the German ships in Goa. They then board one which is being used to transmit signals to the U-boats, catching the depleted crew off guard. The ship is set alight and the party withdraws, watching as the ship sinks. In the real Operation Creek, the Calcutta Light Horse embarked on the barge named Phoebe at Calcutta and sailed around India to Goa. After the German ship Ehrenfels was sunk, British intelligence dispatched an open message over the air, falsely warning that they intended to invade Goa. The crew of the other two German merchant ships in the Indian Ocean, Drachenfels and Braunfels, received this message and scuttled their ships in the harbour in the belief that they were protecting their ships from capture by the British. Hollywood stars Gregory Peck and David Niven had already worked together in the hugely successful 1961 The Guns of Navarone. They came together again for the SeaWolves. 4 actual German survivors of the raid on Goa acted as advisors on the movie. 2 of the families, Sedel Zek and Tam, continue to live in Goa to this day. The film also has a fair Indian presence. A number of Indian actors played cameos, including Mark Zuber, Mohan Agashe and Keith Stevenson. And many elderly Goans who had lived in the region during the Second World War were hired as extras for the film. The Goa unit manager for the SeaWolves was noted local journalist Mario Cabral Issa. And the film's creative assistant was none other than Goan cartoonist Mario Miranda. During the credits, the SeaWolves showed real footage of the actual events it covered.
Loonies, a Polish film which features in the World of Cinema category, takes us on a daring journey across Poland. Brian caught up with the cast of this film.
It's a pleasure to talk to both of you. You spoke about your film in the recent press conference. I wanted maybe one of you to tell us briefly what's this film about.
I'm here on behalf of the film director Jan Jakub Kolski, and this film tells a story about 2 outcasts who are coming out of prison to start a new life, and they are good people, but life is such as that bad things happen to us, and they try to fit into the world that is not very friendly to them. And it is a strange but a love story, comedy/drama, set in a beautiful Poland, and acted out by fantastic actors. Alicja plays the lead in it. She's a very talented young upcoming actress, Polish actress.
And
she's the star of the movie. And Eric Lubos.
Alicia, you played the main role. What did this role mean to you? How did it change you? How did you prepare for it?
It was the main woman role. The main character is man in this movie. The actor who plays it has a bigger part in it. And how it changed me, I had to change the way I look like. I had to shorten my hair. I had to lose my weight, and to find some dark side of myself. And my character is in a very difficult situation in her life, and she's sick, she's sad, she was cheated on. Yeah. She was cheated on, and I have to search somewhere in me this.
In this movie, the journey is almost a metaphor of life, and it is even true for normal people. You know, people do go on a journey, they do go on a pilgrimage. So, how did it affect? What kind of change did it bring you after the movie?
Oh gosh, after
briefly.
This movie changed my life a lot, because I used to play in a theater, and my life was connected with theater all the time, and then it changed. The effect which the impact of movie is much more stronger than theatrical, and I started life on new level, let's say, and I started to play in movies and short serious.
Yeah. You did say in the press conference that in Poland you have people doing theatre almost 24/7, and that's very interesting. It's not something I was aware of. But so how do you all do, not work-life balance, but theatre movie balance? And you're a young actress. So
it's hard to make this balance because I changed
Theatre
city.
is very demanding and taxing
Yes,
and
very-
time-consuming.
And our new theater, when we are now, we work there a lot. So it's hard, but it's possible to manage to play in theater and in movies.
Elroy Fernandez met up with an award-winning filmmaker, Mahesh Pailu, of the film Paper Flowers. His films often grapple with divergent notions of South Asian identity.
Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to the 55th edition of the International Film Festival of India being held out here in Goa. I have with me an Indian filmmaker who's now in America, Mr. Mahesh Pailu, who's here to talk about his film, which is in Cinema of the World section. Mahesh, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Can you tell us a little more about your film and what it entails?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, we're so excited to be here. This is a dream come true for us to be here. Our movie is called Paper Flowers, and it's a movie about gratitude. That's what it's about. And it's about based on a true story of a young American kid, Indian American kid who was diagnosed with a terminal diagnosis of cancer. And it's about how he found a way to live, even in that sense of he knew he was going to die. And he found that way to live by inspiring people around him to live life to the fullest. He wrote an article called Thank You Cancer, which was, this inspiring article that had a viral moment. It was about seeing death. He realized that that's a way to take everything for granted and not leave anything here on earth for granted. So it's an amazing, inspiring story that our producer, CPS, he was the one that wanted to tell this story in the beginning. And then we turned it into a movie and wanted to show this world. And now we're here in Goa, and it's kind of an amazing journey for us.
You are something of an immigrant yourself,
Yes.
right? How much of your own life story comes out in the cinema that you make?
All the time. I mean, I think in my career, my life, and the stories that I choose to tell, a lot of it deals with the Indian diaspora, especially as it pertains into America as immigrants, whether it's my parents' journey or my own journey there. Because we're always living in a very international world, but in America, it's interesting our sort of immigration story and sort of how we're dealing with our own identity. So it's always something I'm interested in.
As a director, your films are being championed by the Smithsonian and the Carnegie as well. What inspires you, or rather what pushes you as a director to keep making films like this, which not just yours, but everyone else who watch people also take something on?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, for me, it has to hit me first. It's always something that if there's a story that I want to tell, it keeps coming back to me, and I just want to keep working on it to tell it. But I think for me, I love human dramas. That's what I like. They're the stories that are universal, that can touch people, and I love connecting with audiences. So it's really gratifying to make a movie, especially our movie, that is an American story that can travel, that can play in India, and it's a really gratifying experience. Really why I do it.
Speaking of traveling in India, right? Is this your first visit out here or to Goa? And what is your experience like at IFFI, and what are you going to take home? What the experience are you going to take back?
Yeah, this is not my first time in Goa. I've been here a few times.
Okay.
My family, I have a lot of family who still live in India, near Bangalore and in Mumbai, so I've been coming back and forth. But to have a film play this, the first time I've had a film play at IFFI, and to be here at IFFI, that's a very special thing. I mean, we had an incredible response at our own screen, but just to be here with other filmmakers, but also to see the sense of the way that people celebrate cinema here is very different, and it's exciting, it's inspiring. And it's in Goa, which is an incredible space and place to be, so I think we're very lucky to be playing here. I'm excited to be back here, especially with the film. It's going to be incredible.
All right, wish you all the very best, you and your film for the future as well. Anything in the pipeline that we can look forward to?
And I also direct some television, so that's stuff that's always in the pipeline. And I have other movies that are in a similar kind of space in terms of dealing with, again, multicultural stories, dealing with the Indian diaspora in America. So hopefully little shows like that.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
See you soon, Sanar. All the best for your film.
A fabulous curation of films, the galaxy of stars on the red carpet, and much, much more, which concludes another exciting day at the movies. This is Lushan Sequeira Fernandez saying goodbye.